Hi guys, today I will be talking about my diagnosis. So it started in 2016 with what me and my parents called dizzy spells and deja vu feelings in primary. And then it got worse, so then I was referred to a doctor in our local hospital. I then had to have several tests, which included a couple of EEGs and an MRI scan. They then diagnosed me after their findings that I had focal epilepsy in 2017. Over the next 2 years, they then got worse, unfortunately, and I was then referred to Alder Hey. And I met with a neurologist to plan 2 more MRIs, and he then changed my medication, and then I think we did 5 different combinations, and unfortunately none of them worked, which then meant I was drug-resistant focal epilepsy. I am now on a surgery pathway plan to hopefully, fingers crossed, get better, and that meant that I had to have more tests. So I've had a VT scan, which is a video telemetry, where I stayed in hospital for around 4 days, I think. So then I couldn't get out of bed, and I had probes stuck to my head and cameras in my room, but the only place I could go would be the toilet, and that is it. And that's where they found more readings, and with my clusters they figured out some more. So then my new diagnosis after their research was that I am drug-resistant focal epilepsy with likely left posterior quadrant onset. Very confusing. And then I had a neuropsychology appointment and an assessment, and then I had a neuropsychiatry assessment and an MRI. These results then were discussed in a massive MDT meeting with all these special doctors when they come together from all different places, and they discuss what my next plan is, which was then to see if it would be a yes, no, or a maybe for surgery, and I had a maybe, so meaning that I need more tests now. So then after their meeting with the loads of professionals, the decision was that I didn't want this decision, unfortunately, but it was a maybe. So we're a bit unsure if I can have brain surgery, and it's because of my speech and language, and of course nobody wants to lose that. Everyone wants to talk. So I understand it was a bit of a bummer at first, but I do understand because it's not like they want to mess up. And I definitely don't want to stop talking because I love talking to my family and friends. So now they want me to have another fMRI, another neuropsychology assessment around my speech, and an autoimmune blood test and an SEEG. This is a stereo electroencephalogram, difficult to read, which is when they'll drill little things into my head, and then they will put 10 to 15 electrodes in the holes into my brain. So then each electrode has between 5 to 18 contacts on, so which will means that they'll get a lot better readings than an EEG. They will then have to put bolts in my head to keep it in so they don't fall out, and then obviously I have to redo it, and then I'll be bandaged in my head, I think, so everything stays together. And then I will have to stay in hospital for around 3 weeks max, I think. That's what we've discussed anyway. And then the doctors will do various more tests while the electrodes are in my brain, like asking me questions and talking to me and things like that. And then after all of those tests are done, my results will go back to another MDT meeting with all the amazing, smart doctors, and then to make a decision if I can hopefully have surgery. I have a long way to go, but I will try anything to get my life back to the way it is and be seizure free. So fingers crossed again. I really don't want, to have to live with this, although there are other options if it is a no. But again, fingers crossed. So that's my diagnosis so far, and we're just waiting for some more tests, which they said when we FaceTimed them that it should be around, they're starting their tests around June time. So obviously we haven't had an appointment yet, but that should be our next step. So my next video will be all about my burns and my time in hospital, and progressing to actually be what I'm like now, rather than staying in bed all day every day sore and just sleeping. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and please subscribe, like and share, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye guys!